Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in the sports niche. Created in April 2015, this business makes $15,506 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the business is 45304. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Eric, thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. And thank you again for taking the time. I know it's a little early in the morning where you are. I really appreciate getting the chance to sit down to discuss this business with you. But before we dive into the questions that I have, I want to go ahead and run through a little quick summary of the business. Again, it was built in April of 2015, has a monthly revenue of $94,966, expenses of $79,460 to make for a net profit of $15,506, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the Amazon Seller Central account with 4 SKUs, 4 domains and all site content and files, blog, social media accounts, and trademark. Please note that inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Eric, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Well, this is actually my first online business. I was doing various other jobs before that, a lot of them related to culture, working overseas. And I really enjoyed living overseas and was looking for opportunities to do that while having a little more freedom as to where I was and being, how well I could travel. So I started looking at those opportunities. I had a friend who was doing an online business, and he basically got me into doing Amazon FBA, and I got started from there.
And for a first stab at an online business here, you've been doing pretty well for yourself. As I was mentioned before, reading off the numbers, you're making over $15,000 every single month on average in profit. So you're clearly doing well. And with that said, with it going so well, why have you decided to sell the business?
To be honest, I would say that business has never been my passion. As I said, I enjoy working overseas. I've always been interested in international relations and culture, to be honest. I was a literature major at university. So I think my main goal here is I've worked really, hard to grow this business and make it stable. And now I kind of want to get back to that passion. I'm planning to apply for graduate school in international relations and I'm hoping to write a book as well, but I want to get back to that passion more or less.
When you look at the history of this business, like I said before the last question, you're doing very well. So what would you say has been the biggest contributing factor to your growth here and your success?
I'll be honest and say that, a lot of it does end up being luck. But the biggest factor is probably just product selection and just finding products that didn't have a lot of high quality competition and kind of getting into those niches early just to be able to take advantage of that early mover advantage.
So why did you decide to go with Amazon FBA rather than something like, for instance, drop shipping?
I would say that it was just a matter of familiarity. I wasn't very aware of drop shipping at that time, and I'm still not very aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If, you said that your friend kind of got you into the online business world. So if what his experience was Amazon FBA, I mean, it makes sense that that's what you would get into here. So here you are now. It's been, a few years since April 2015. Business is doing super well. So what are your roles in maintaining the business as is?
To be honest, it's mostly limited to I send off emails to suppliers when I need to place a new order or order is ready to be shipped out. Probably deal with probably 5 or 6 customer emails a week. And then beyond that, PPC is outsourced. So it's basically looking at new ideas, checking to see what other people are doing, maybe checking a few stats, but it's not that intensive, to be honest.
So then if you had to put a quantity on the number of hours you spend on the business on average, what would that be?
I would say 10 hours a week of kind of substantive work.
You also have 4 websites, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So, can you take me through? You're kind of chuckling here. So, can you take me through the role that the websites play for the business?
Sure. The websites, we do have one is a Shopify store, and that, on the face of it, it's a Shopify store, but the real purpose was just to get us in Brand Registry 2.0 and to kind of get those brand protections the brand registry offers. So the site actually, it does look nice. It's a proper store where people can purchase our products, but we don't really drive traffic to it. We don't see any real sales through it. So that's the main website. And then there are three others, which are just simple ones that I've put together at different points in time to provide information about our sports product brand. And then, so one of the sites is for the sports product brand, and then the two others are for the pet products brand, and they're actually linked up. So it's just one site under two different domains and providing information about that pet product.
So you have two brands then, and you mentioned that you wanted to get Brand Registry 2.0. Do you have Brand Registry 2.0 for both brands, or is it only the sports brand?
Only the sports brand right now. We're waiting for the trademark on the pet brand to be able to register for Brand Registry 2.0. But I believe that trademark, we're expecting it to come through probably next month, is what my lawyer has told me.
Can you give me a breakdown on the split between the sports brand and the pet brand in terms of total revenue for the business, approximately?
To be frank, the pet brand consists of a single product, and it doesn't drive a great deal of sales. So I would say the pet brand only does about $4,000 in revenue a month. So the breakdown is very much skewed towards the sports product brand.
Yeah, with about 96,000 or 94,000, sorry, in revenue every month, 4,000 are for the pet brand, then that leaves the large majority of that for the sport brand then. And then you also have a blog and social media accounts. Do you do a lot of content marketing, social media marketing? What are the purpose of those?
They're mostly there just to give the sports product brand a presence, just any kind of social media presence. I wouldn't say we drive a lot of traffic with them or anything like that, but we do post almost daily on Facebook and then fairly frequently on Instagram just to give customers a way to connect with us.
Can you talk about the future opportunities that you see for this business that you would take advantage of if you were to keep the business?
I would say mostly it's going to be Amazon's always growing, so that's always an opportunity in itself, more customers coming in and more people buying. Beyond that, I would say it would be a matter of adding new products. We have two or three new product ideas that I think that are pretty decent. And so those would be totally new products. And so I would start to add those new products as well as add variations on the existing products. I think there's a lot of room for adding different colors, different sizes, and things like that. And I think there's a market for those colors and sizes that can be taken advantage of.
Do you feel like you mentioned that Amazon is growing, so there's of course more opportunity there, but do you feel like there's an opportunity to grow outside of Amazon, maybe utilizing that Shopify site?
I do. I'm an 80-20 type of person. So I think for me, the Amazon has been the 80-20. And I'm not someone who knows a great deal about driving traffic off of Amazon. But I think the Shopify store, for example, if we offered free standard shipping and ran some Google ads or Facebook ads, I think it could start to get a decent number of sales.
Do you feel like there are any potential risks associated with this business that a new owner should be aware of?
Before I answer, are we talking about Amazon businesses in general, or are we talking about my business in particular?
Your business in particular, but I mean, if you want to touch on the general risk that Amazon businesses face, I mean, they are present, right?
Of course, yeah. I think probably the biggest risk is just going to be growing competition. As Amazon grows and expands throughout the world, I think, you're getting more sellers on the platform, but also you're seeing more sophisticated sellers who are really utilizing some advanced strategies. And so I think a buyer would want to be prepared for that, be aware of that, and kind of be ready to grow as a seller and kind of keep up with those changes as they occur.
You don't feel like there's any specific risk to your specific niche or the products you sell?
I would say for my particular products, competition-wise, I don't foresee any huge obstacles. I think they're fairly safe. I will say it's getting harder and harder to reach out to customers these days, and that can lead to some difficulties with... Sorry, Jake.
Not a problem. It's okay. You're doing great, Eric, I promise. Just relax
Thanks.
a little bit. I mean, the reality is that these are, as you would say, pretty cut and dry products. I mean, there's nothing risky, right? You're not selling weapons. You're not selling something else. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's rather fair to say that there aren't any niche or product specific risks. You know, there's obviously going to be the standard Amazon risks, as you already kind of touched on.
Right.
But I mean, you're selling a jump rope. You know, people are always going to want a jump rope, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. That's
okay.
Good with me.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I want to be open about the risk, but yeah, in terms of the products themselves, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, unless you see, generally when I ask that question, I've done interviews where the products are weapons, like swords or something. I've done safes, things like that. And, so when I ask the niche specific risk question, the seller may say, oh, well, there is a little controversy around these particular products. And, that's really what, I want you to be like, oh, no, there's nothing really risky about the niche I'm in terms of controversy around the products. Of course, the sport niche is rather popular. So, you may run into competition, as I already said before. But in terms of the actual products, no, there's no risk there. That is actually how I would answer that question.
Okay, cool.
And Eric, just relax. You're doing great, man. I promise.
All right, thanks.
So you've kind of touched on some of the Amazon risks, but do you feel like there are any niche or product specific risks for this business?
I would say that, in terms of competition, as we've discussed, the sports category is a competitive one, but the products themselves, I don't think there's anything inherently risky about any of them, to be honest.
Eric, would you commit to a non-compete?
Of course, yeah. That wouldn't be a problem for me.
And how much support are you willing to offer a new owner during the transition period?
I think what I've said is that I'd be willing to offer, a few months of email and Skype support just to get them oriented to the business and get things on track. Mm-hmm. And, aware of how to run the business.
Mm-hmm. Are you open to negotiating on something like an earnout?
Yes, I'd be open to negotiating on that.
Awesome. And wow, my voice kind of died there for a second. Eric, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today. I really appreciate it. And I've loved discussing this business with you. I mean, you've been very successful. The business has great year-on-year growth. The products are nice. You have trademarks, brand registry, all of that stuff. But in your opinion, looking at this business, if you were, for example, a potential buyer looking at this, what about this would make you feel like it is a business worth buying?
I would say probably there's that early mover advantage. So in our niches, we have a nice, firm positioning in those niches. There's good positioning so far. And then also there's a lot of potential for growth in terms of variations and, taking advantage of those positions further, as well as adding new products. I think I've got a couple of good product ideas in the works. So. Mm-hmm.
And there's opportunities, like we've mentioned, trying to grow on Amazon even more, but also outside of Amazon, if you have experience with that. The business is relatively low hours as it currently stands, and you're still making a lot of money in profit every month. So, I mean, to me, it seems like a winner. And Eric, I really appreciate, again, you just taking the time to meet with me today.
Well, thank you, Jake.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you are watching this on the listing page and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you, and you will be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.